With the strings touch instrument in Garageband, you can play various string sounds like notes, chords and rhythm patterns. You can choose different playing styles including legato, bowed or pizzicato. This is how you play the strings touch instrument in Garageband for iPad. So like all of the instruments, you go to the browser and then you find and click on or tap on strings. And it takes you into this environment here. Now depending on which view you've got, it usually starts with the chord view. And we'll talk about that first of all because that's actually quite sweet, because just like before you had the ability to just tap one single one, and then you also got the chance to be able to use multiple fingers to change how that sounds. On the top right you have got the chords and notes just like in other touched instruments. You've also got autoplay, which we'll cover in a minute. You've also got the different sections of the string section here. So you've got first, second, violas, cellos and basses. And you can select and deselect which ones you want in this particular pattern. To change the type of string sound, on the left hand side where it says cinematic, you can change between cinematic, modern, pop and romantic. And then you can then save when you've chosen yours. We're going to stick with cinematic. So for now then, we're going to have a look. So when you're playing chords and you want to do some bowing, holding a segment of a chord strip and swipe up and down. And if you move down or up, changes in dynamics and volume. So for staccato, you quickly swipe a segment. So that's with the bow. And then pizzicato, which is plucked, you just tap a segment of a chord strip. So when I say segment, I mean each of these are segments. So I'm just going to tap a segment. But if I wanted to have staccato, I'm quickly swiping down, and if I am bowing, then I'm doing a slow swipe. So the autoplay knob on the top right hand side, you've got 4 different parameters, and if you have a look, we just tap on one of these. And the wonderful thing about this is if you use one finger to tap, you get one style, and you use 2 fingers to tap, you can get a different variation on each autoplay. So that's a really nice thing to be able to do. So let's try another one. Let's try number 3 this time. And let's try that with 2 fingers. So you've got some really nice variations on there with those autoplays. So don't forget, and if you want to change, say for example you only wanted the lower strings, so maybe from basses up to violas, you can do that too, again with 1 finger or 2. There's 1 finger. And that's with 2 fingers tapped on that one particular chord. So you've got a lot of control and a lot of opportunity here to be able to play lots of different things, and you can get some really rich and varied textures when you are playing just with 1 tap or 2 taps, holding down, swiping quickly or swiping slowly. So you can get the full gambit of string articulations from legato, bowing and pizzicato. So that's chord view. So let's have a look at notes view then. So we tap on notes in the top right and you can see things look a little bit different. We are now no longer faced with a whole group of stringed instruments, we have got individual instruments here. So when you tap and hold, in terms of the bowing then, this is where you use this little button on the left, which is the articulation button. And if you hold it and then you tap a string, you'll get pizzicato. Now if you want to lock that in place, double tap and it will then highlight it permanently, and then And the same again, just like you did with the chord, you can tap each string and it'll give you pizzicato, or you can swipe down quickly to give you a short legato, or tap and drag down long for a long sustained note. So you can do exactly the same performance techniques as you have done in the chord view, but also it just gives you that little bit more flexibility with the locked articulations. To then deselect that, you just double tap it and it will then deselect it back to its grayed out mustard color. So to play in a particular scale then, you can go over to the scale view and tapping on here, again you'll be familiar with this with other instruments too. You can then change your scale to be able to do that, in which case if we wanted to do minor pentatonic we could do. And you'll hear that each one of these segments on the neck of this particular instrument, the viola, so you can have lots of nice effects there. Again, with the articulations double tapped on, then you've got more opportunities under your fingertips, so to speak. So you can change from the mid register to the upper register strings, this in the violin, and then obviously you can talk about the tenor and bass, and then the nice sound here, which is sound really rich. Yeah, that sounds really, really nice. So you can do that, and then when you're ready to record an idea, you just press record, and then you've got your part. You can then be able to play with your other parts as well. So that's a very good overview of the strings, using 1 finger and 2 finger gestures, using the autoplay, and also using the number of instruments you can bring in and bring out. And then you can also talk through the note view as well for those who are a little bit more advanced. And then using the articulations, so pizzicato, staccato, and long and short legato bowing as well. So lots to work on there, lots of really good performance opportunities. If you would need a glossary of terms about any of the words that I've mentioned, do check out the glossary in the activity pack. And in the next video, we're going to be looking at how you can play the bass in Garageband for iPad. So thank you very much for watching this one. I'll see you in the next one.